Good evening, I'm Daisy Richards and welcome to Friday's edition of the Regional News. We begin with news from Venezuela. Venezuela's capital Caracas and other regions of the country experienced a widespread power outage early on Friday, the Communication and Information Ministry said, blaming sabotage by the opposition but without giving any evidence. The outage affected almost the whole country as all 24 states have reported a total or partial loss of electricity supply, said Freddy Nanez, Minister of the Communication and Information Ministry, on state television. However, he gave no evidence of deliberate sabotage in a country which often suffers power outages, though not on a national scale like this one. As recently as Tuesday, a series of smaller blackouts affected some states, which Nanez also blamed on sabotage. President Nicolas Maduro, who has presided over a sharp economic deterioration since he took office in 2013, often complains of attacks on the power grid by the opposition, accusations the opposition has always denied. The last major outage was in 2019 when Venezuela suffered 3 national blackouts, some lasting as long as 3 days, which authorities also attributed to attacks on the network, such as damage to power lines by saboteurs and opponents of Maduro's government. Venezuela's Electoral Council proclaimed Maduro in power since 2013, the winner of a July 28 presidential election, but has not yet published complete voting tallies. The opposition has since published tallies showing a landslide win for its candidate Edmundo Gonzalez. Several videos circulating on social media on Friday showed cities under a blackout. While in Trinidad and Tobago, investigations are continuing into the death of 16-year-old Aliyah Santu, who was allegedly shot by a male companion at a house in Waterfield on Tuesday night. While the circumstances leading to the teenager's death were yet to be determined on Wednesday, preliminary information suggested it may have been an accident. An 18-year-old Waterfield man has since been detained in connection with the shooting. The suspect initially claimed Santu, a Form 3 student of Guayco Secondary School, was shot after she opened the front door and a gunman stormed the house, opening fire on them. This account, however, was later disputed by a person who was present at the house. Medical officials at the Arima Hospital contacted police at 11:40 p.m. on Tuesday to report that a teenage girl had been brought in suffering from gunshot wounds. Santu was pronounced dead at 11:50 p.m. whilst undergoing emergency treatment. In an interview on Tuesday, Santu's mother, Avita Bali, 34, said Santu had chosen to leave the family home after a fallout with her stepfather last year over the rules of the home. She said she had moved to her father's house, where she spent a couple of months before returning to Waterfield and moving into her aunt's house, which is situated opposite. Finally, news from Honduras. Honduras Foreign Ministry on Tuesday said it would end a more than a century-old extradition treaty with the U.S. after Washington's ambassador expressed concern about a meeting between Honduran and Venezuelan defense officials. In a letter to the U.S. Embassy shared on social media by Foreign Minister Enrique Rina, Honduras Foreign Ministry expressed, quote, the decision of the government of the Republic of Honduras to terminate the extradition treaty, unquote. Earlier on Wednesday, Honduran President Xiomara Castro ordered a denunciation, a unilateral withdrawal of a treaty in international law, and accused Washington of meddling in her country's affairs. U.S. Ambassador to Honduras Laura Dugu had earlier told local TV reporters the United States was concerned after a meeting last week between Honduran Defense Minister Jose Manuel Zelaya and his Venezuelan counterpart, Valdemar Padrino. Zelaya was joined by the country's head of the Military Joint Chiefs of Staff. Dugu said she was surprised they met with drug traffickers. The United States indicted Padrino on drug trafficking charges in 2020. Honduras is a staunch ally of Venezuela's socialist government. The extradition treaty has allowed for the extradition of high-profile Hondurans, including former President Juan Orlando Hernandez and former police chief Juan Carlos Bonilla. Hernandez, a one-time U.S. ally, was extradited to the U.S. after Castro took office in 2022 and has since been convicted and sentenced in U.S. courts on drug trafficking charges. Thank you for watching. Do have a great weekend. Until next time.